Hello there. If you're part of the anti-MAGA resistance, which I decidedly am myself, I have a few things, questions I'd like to throw out there. And you think of the answers yourself. How should we deal with MAGA people that we know? And maybe on a very, very close basis. Relatives, people who you thought of as friends for years, neighbors, co-workers, supervisors at work. It's tempting to hate them all. But I have to throw some experience of my own out there. In spite of my physical appearance, I am about half German. My father's family was German American. Plus, I grew up in a northern Kentucky community that is part of the greater Cincinnati area, a city in the United States that has a very large German American population. I was very influenced by a lot of German immigrants and Italian immigrants that I grew up around. People who families often had ties to either the Nazis in Germany or the fascists in Italy. And some of my teachers were decidedly either pro Nazi or pro fascisti or both. Then I served in Germany in the early 1970s as a nuclear missile crewman. And while I was there, I spent a lot of time hanging out in bars because I like to hang out in bars and drink. Simple as that. And I ended up drinking with a lot of Germans who were in Hitler's army, members of the Nazi Party, and also sometimes drinking with Germans who were in the anti-fascist movement, Antifa, that the American Nazis today love to despise. Many of those were members of the German Communist Party, a party which, by the way, denounced Stalinism. That's something that's not really well known in the United States. But anyway, I would say that I met two kinds of people who had been Nazis. Those who were pure evil. Evil, and so much so they were despised by the other Germans, most of the German people are really kind and compassionate people. I know that because I was in Germany during the Vietnam era when there were Americans spitting on American servicemen because of the Vietnam War, while a lot of the Germans felt sorry for us. Literally, I want to repeat that. During the Vietnam War, a lot of Germans felt sorry for American servicemen because they understood that you can be caught up in an ugly, unpopular war while you're in someone's military and it's not your fault. But I want to get specifically into some of the conversations I had with former Nazis who had been in the German military, including one who was a former SS colonel. They typically referred to Hitler as the Hitler cocksucker. They felt, and I believe rightfully so, that the Nazi high command, from Hitler and his entire inner circle, had betrayed not only all of the German people, but also rank and file members of the Nazi Party. So there were evil Nazis, and there were Nazis who in their own way were victims because they were misled, they were lied to, and they were duped into supporting evil. Now I see that same thing here in the United States with MAGA. There are a lot of good people who are MAGA supporters who spent too much time watching right-wing news outlets and right-wing podcasts and hearing their ministers and priests preach right-wing talking points from the pulpit, and who have believed a lot of things that are frankly not fucking true. And then there are those who are just plain evil. And each of us has an obligation to our own souls to know the difference and treat them accordingly. Hate the evil ones. There are times when hate is good. It's good to hate hateful people. That's what you should do. But love those whom you know are good people who have just been misled. The MAGA movement is going to come to the same sort of end as the Nazi movement did in Germany, where at the end of the war, much has been said about so many of the Nazis who left Germany, fled to other countries, the United States, Argentina, South Africa, wherever they could find a welcome mat. But so many of them were leaving because all over Germany, people were posting large signs, banners, saying Nazis raus, meaning Nazis, get. They found they were not welcome there. And the same thing will happen to MAGA. If you're a hardcore MAGA supporter, if you're a member of any little segment of our society who feels that everything that MAGA is doing, including the killings on our streets by ICE agents, remember the day will come when the American people will be saying, MAGA, get. We don't need you. And the world is not going to be very, very receptive to you elsewhere. They're already, the mayor of Milan, Italy, is already saying they don't want ICE in Milan. I want to repeat that. The mayor of Milan Italy does not want ICE in Milan. And this is considering that Italy's current Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, belongs to a political party that has its roots in Mussolini's fascist party. MAGA, you may have supported it for all the wrong reasons. Maybe you believed the lies. It's time for you to wake up. Those of you who are just plain evil will find that there's a price for evil, and you can't escape it. It's karmic justice. Have a good day, and have a great life.